You must be nervous. We haven't done a coffee with Cage in months, and you got that like the pre-episode butterflies. Am I right?
No, I never have butterflies.
You've never been nervous?
Oh, I've been nervous, but not for something like this.
What gets you nervous?
Not being prepared.
Prepared for what?
Preparation is the cure for all nerves. You study enough for a test, you walk in, you're not nervous. You know,
Since when is my head so crooked?
it's a little crooked. But listen, it's pretty funny. You know, that's like a topic of the hobby this week. You know, crooked, not being crooked, not being negative, being positive, being a good member of the community.
Give me the
Lots
breakdown.
of-
I didn't get a
lots of
chance
stuff.
to watch that. I didn't get a chance to watch the video.
I mean, basically, look, you know, the world of cards and hobby is a little different than it is a couple years ago. Many people know this, maybe some people don't. But like sports card investor Geoff Wilson, who I would love to have on the show. You're good at this. I throw it out there into the universe. I say, hey, Andrew, make this happen. And somehow you always do. So I'm going to lay a challenge down for you. For Luca Nation, I'm going to say, can you get Geoff Wilson on the show? I did this once before. I said, get Gary Vee on the show. And the dude did it, right? So Geoff Wilson, met the guy at National, really nice, you know, knew who I was, said hi, said nice things. One of my favorite videos involving Geoff was when he met Shyway Vlogs, although you tell me he doesn't vlog anymore, so I should change it. But he met Shyway Vlogs, and for the first time, although obviously they're on first name basis now. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw you. You were on that Luca's Tigers thing. I was like, yeah, look at that. This guy listens. So anyway, get him on
Challenge
the show. That would be
accepted.
nice.
Challenge accepted. You know I respond well to challenges.
Challenge.
It's kind of what I live for.
So, well, that's good. Now you got a challenge.
I'm a team captain for the Culture Collision basketball tournament. Can you give me a challenge there?
Well, who's on your team and who you playing? Do you have any idea? You have anything fun going on there? Like,
We didn't draft teams yet, hence that I'm the captain.
Who's the other captain? That way I know someone you're playing against. Who are the other captains?
Tomadon.
Oh, okay. Now I know why you're doing it.
What do you mean? I like to win, man. I like to compete. I like to see who's the best. I thoroughly enjoy that stuff. I thoroughly enjoy that stuff. Mojo, Prism God, Sasha, Darius, Dars Cards, Grailed Grails, Jaden Wolf, Team Siobhan. Let's go.
Black Jaden Wolf. Sharon's got a squad. That's awesome. They're going to win it all. She's going to win it all. So, what's your challenge? You don't have to win the whole thing. You don't have to even make it to the championship. But you, with all of that Smith you've been talking, you cannot lose to Sasha's team. There's your challenge. Do not lose to Sasha. Because he's tall.
Is that right? I've never seen him in person.
He's a tall dude. He's a tall dude, you know?
Though. Yeah, lefties always got game.
Lefties are problems, especially in boxing. So the Geoff Wilson thing, right? A lot of people don't know this. He used to sell picks. He used to sell plays. That was like one of his shticks. You know, it was like, hey, you know, I got plays. You guys should invest in these cards and the whole deal. A while ago, and they stopped doing that. And he basically was like, look, you know, like, let's bring some positivity to the hobby. It was almost sort of like, I don't want to say like a mea culpa, but it's like, you know, hey, that does the wrong thing. That sends the wrong message. You know, now I'm more into educating people. You know, I want to make sure people know what's going on, the whole deal. And, you know, using this platform, which has 140,000 subscribers on YouTube. I say followers, and my daughter corrects me. It's called subscribers. It's 140,000 subscribers. It's a good thing. The more people that go out there and do that kind of stuff, the better. You know, the hobby has its ups and downs. And my favorite Twitter post is the one that says, like, the hobby has been drama-free for 0 days, and days is crossed out and it's hours. You know, like a sign at a factory. It's like, this factory has been injury-free for 1 day. You know, like they count the days. But the hobby...
You're a believer that making money cures all, right? So when the markets are doing what the markets need to do, people are happy. When markets aren't doing what the markets need to do, and they see the rich get richer, people bitch, and then it causes a little bit of fighting. I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit.
It's easier to sing Kumbaya when we're all rolling in the dough. It's easier to sit around a campfire, make s'mores, and sing. But you know, when it's not, when we run out of chocolate and marshmallows, and we're just eating dry graham crackers, that's no fun. You ever made a s'more?
Love
You ever made a
s'mores.
s'more? Okay, so the one
I don't like the graham crackers. I think they're kind of pointless. Let's get into the show. So
you'd
welcome
burn
back.
your finger without it. What are you gonna do? Put like hot marshmallow and melted chocolate on your hand? You need a device. You need a delivery instrument. That's the graham cracker. No one likes celery, but you like dipping it in
I would put
blue
it
cheese.
between two pieces of chocolate.
But,
Welcome back to the show. We haven't done a coffee with Cage in months, and this is your guys' favorite segment. It's where you get to ask your questions, topics, suggestions, all that stuff. We read them out loud and we riff a little bit. We talk about the stuff that's relevant to you. And the first thing that's top of mind, and actually the last question that came through in our Discord was, so I don't know if you saw the Zion card, 500,000 plus, I think 600,000 plus in a BGS 9.5 Gem Mint Plus holder. And that's the same card that SGC graded. Okay. So SGC had that card in a 9.5 holder. And
same number because they're at a
same number, same
card
exact
number,
card,
same
card, same patch, same number, same everything. So 9.5 SGC, Gem Mint plus BGS, pretty much identical grades. I know you guys out there might get, but pretty much identical grades. So people are asking, what do you think it will take for resale prices of SGC graded cards to get closer to PSA and BGS? And I'll caveat that because a few people came in and they are already moving in that direction. So just the caveat.
I mean, it depends on the card, right? It really does depend on the card. What Andrew's saying here is, he saw a post, looked like it was a post from SGC, I think, basically alerting the world that the $500,000 Zion RPA at a 99 that's in a BGS 9.5 with a 10 auto was previously in an SGC 9.5 10 holder and cracked and put in a BGS and sold. I think there's already a segment of cards that SGC 9.5, SGC 10s sell for BGS 9.5 money already. BGS, or close there too. The difference there is what, right? BGS 9.5 is considered gem mint. SGC 10 is their gem mint, right? So is that sort of a little bit of a difference there? Could this be considered, SGC grading it a little more scrutiny? Could it be considered, Beckett letting a card go a little, maybe a little flaw here and there? I mean, obviously there's some subjectivity in the grades. You would like to think that, a BGS 9.5 is supposed to be a PSA 10 and an SGC 10. That's the gem mint qualifiers, right? That's gem mint is an SGC 10, right?
I went a different direction with it. I went a direction where you taught me, and you said there was a time that modern everyone graded BGS. Right?
That's true. Yeah.
But you would never grade vintage in a BGS. It wouldn't even make sense.
Well, it's BVG, but yeah, no. I mean,
BVG.
BVG, no.
I think what we're seeing here is BGS still has that reputation for modern cards, 5, 6, 7-figure cards, and BGS holders.
Well, RPAs especially.
Yes. SGC is the reverse. Typically, SGC didn't play in the modern space. They had record cards and record sales of vintage, but I think we're going to start seeing higher ticket sales in modern for SGC, but it takes some time to catch up.
I agree.
BGS has that brand for modern.
But I think it's already starting on the autoed cards. I think it's already starting on the modern stuff. I think you get, pretty close. BGS patch autos, BGS, Will Rich has got it. BGS is the go-to for patch autos, go-to for RPAs, it's the go-to for that kind of stuff. Just because it was the auto cards, I think I will tell you, the Trout auto is the one that I think that you see the most in BGS. Now, they're starting to cross over. The Trout auto from 09 that has a grade. You see the Bowman card, you get 9, 5, and 10. That's not an RPA per se, but that card was almost all in Beckett. There weren't a lot of people grading that card with PSA, trying to get a dual auto, 10, 10, back in 09 and 10 and 11 when people were, grading that card 2012 when he was up and playing. So I think that's part of it. I think, that's the deal. But, I mean, think about that, right? So here's the card. This card was in an SGC holder, so you can say this card, which was an SGC's holder, is now it's a $500,000 card. You know, I mean, it's a, you know, you read into it however you like. It does the market as far as, you know, preferences for grading. It kind of does have its swings. You know, I'll tell you, people who have held an SGC slab recently, they all message back the same thing to me. They're like, "This is a cool slab. Like it's a substantial slab. You know what I mean? It looks cool." So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I think a lot more modern are going into SGC now, but I can understand that card with the auto grade. I can understand people wanting, you know, the Beckett on that, and it's selling for
Blemished asks, where do you stand on
Blemish.
collecting multiple copies of the same card? If you have conviction about any particular card, would it be wise to always buy at least 2 copies? Is this practice fair to the hobby and collectors? Actually, I mean, this question a lot.
It depends on your bankroll. It depends on your bankroll. By the way, check this out. Does that not look amazing?
I was pumped for that card. That's a Curry Origins purple, pristine.
With the gold label, pristine 10 numbered.
I think Origins is one of the nicest card designs that Panini makes.
I mean, look at that bad boy. That was part of our 50 free grades for our community this month. So that's January's grades already in. I mean, those are nice cards. It's cool, you know, cool stuff in the you know, the modern stuff going into SGC. So do I like having more than one? Yes, 100%. It depends on the card. I mean, look, if you have conviction in a person and in a specific card, sure, buy as many of them as you can. I'm one who stacks cards like crazy. You know, back when the Upper Deck 92 card number 1 Shaquille O'Neal was only $400, I bought as many of them as I could. I mean, I think I personally moved eBay up from $400 to $1,000 in that card. I think I had, you know, 20 of them. You know, I just bought as many of them as I could, because then when it runs and I think it's too much, I can sell 1, 2, 5, and if it keeps running, I continue to make profit. If it comes down, I've kind of taken some at the high point, and I still have others, you know, from my own collection. You name it. It is a cool strategy having 2, especially on something that you think is going to go up, because, you know, what's better than it's someone you like, it's someone you want to invest in, you buy it for $1,000, it goes to 2, you have 2 of them, right? So you spend $2,000, it goes to 2, you sell 1 and keep 1, you're now into that 1 for free. I mean, there's no better way of doing it than that.
It's a dream scenario. I think if you could put together those scenarios, you're gonna be a really rich man.
That's it. And I stack cards, guys. And if I like somebody, I buy, forget about 2, I buy 200. I did it with Tatis's Topps rookie, Alonso's Topps rookie. I did it with, you know, Devontae Graham, everyone I can get. I did it with every 2012 Prism card I could find. You know, from baseball base to Klay Thompson rookies to, I mean, you name it. I graded as many of those as I could find. If you know, there's no reason not to. If it's a card you think is going to go, get a bunch of them.
I like this next question, Cage. You bought on eBay a lot. So Long Shot Cards asks, when buying raw on eBay, when should you consider sending a card back to a seller because of condition? Or should it be on the buyer to ask for more photos of the card to determine the condition of the card? I know that everyone wants to buy PSA 10s, but that's not usually the case. Should sellers disclose all flaws they know of a card?
I mean, look, sellers should be honest, but let's all be honest on this show. They're not the most honest people, right? You see them, you know, stuff by the sides, you name it. I try to buy from somebody who is putting up as many pictures as I can, even if it means $1 or $2 more on that base card. I try to, you know, find somebody who's got better pictures, someone who is, you know, being fair in the description. Unfortunately, sometimes that poor seller, you know, if they write in there, hey, this corner looks a little touched, or, you know, this one probably won't grade a 10, they're probably not going to get big money for the card, but at least they're being honest. You know, I try to do it on our Whatnot shows, right? I'll say this one's not going to grade a 10. You know, this one's got a little in the corner. This one's off center. You know, here's why this one will probably be a 9. And it's, I'm sure, going to get me less money when we sell these things, but that's just, you know, that's just a way to be. What I would tell you on this, and this, I've said this since we started our show. It is now more than ever fun on eBay. I always look at what a seller is selling. And if you have a seller you're trying to buy raw from, and they also have a bunch of graded, don't buy from them. Because what they're doing is they're selling you the raw stuff that they don't think is worth grading. So that's, I mean, that is my, like, if I give a fun little piece of advice for you, try to find somebody who is a breaker and is selling their raw. Try to find somebody who breaks cases right when it comes out, and the best way to do raw, twofold. One, buy on eBay the week a product comes out. You know what I mean? Buy that stuff. That way you got a chance of getting some of that, that rare stuff, the good stuff that people haven't cherry picked through yet. And two, get off eBay and find a breaker or 2 or 7 who is breaking a product that has your player in it, your product in it, you name it. Team breaks, you name it. We've talked about this on our show also. Let's just say you are, this year you're a Evan Mobley guy, right? And you get into a break, right? And the guy who got the Cavs in a random break is really a Cade Cunningham guy, right? So he pulls a Mobley. You can make an offer for the card. You know what I mean? It's probably in good shape. You get to look at it. They pulled it, the whole deal. And maybe you're able to grab it that way, and he could take the money and buy, some Cade Cunninghams or whatever it is. Like that's what kind of lurk in the breaks, make offers. I'll buy that, and you get a good condition card often from someone who doesn't really want it.
Don't hold back on this next one because it's been a week. We've gotten to understand the StarStock situation, so there's not as much murkiness here. This is a question from Zola Cards. I believe he's a user of the platform. A New York guy, met him at the New York show, the soccer collector. What's up, Zola? Are the changes at StarStock indicative of a hobby-wide problem of maintaining a viable marketplace for raw cards? Or do the changes just represent the decision of one company to move in a different direction? Or both, or neither?
Well, I mean, listen, to answer your question, I don't think it's indicative of a hobby problem on raw cards. There have been raw marketplaces around for years. ComC sells a lot of raw and has been doing it for a long time. You can get raw on eBay. Depending on what show you go to, some of the most, busy places in the world are the raw marketplaces, which are those dollar boxes. Those are the raw marketplaces in person. So, the hobby's always had raw. And I think it always will. StarStock's issue, I don't believe, was a raw marketplace issue. It was an identity issue. And I love StarStock. I love those guys. I love the people behind it. But you can love the people and, also have some issues, questions, thoughts about the business and the business model as well. I happen to love those guys. I happen to think they're awesome guys, but, I'm not really going out on a limb here if you say that their business model changed often, right? Maybe more often than I change my T-shirt, right? So that's the difficulty with the business in the hobby now, right? Sometimes you make a change for the better of the consumer, and sometimes you make a change for the better of your bottom line. And the second one is not the way to go. The bottom line will follow bringing something with value for your consumer. We had the Whatnot team on, right? The Whatnot CEO, and they said the platform as it currently stands with the social selling, with live auctions and live ripping and live stuff on Whatnot, that was not what they originally developed the product for. But obviously they saw that there was a need for that's what the consumers wanted. That's what people wanted to use Whatnot for. So they leaned into that, right? They leaned at when you lean into what there's a demand for, I think the money and the success follows. If you're leaning towards what you think is going to be the right call for your bottom line, I think you're moving away from, what the real value proposition is. You gotta listen to what the people want. And honestly, I don't know. I think some tweaks on it. A raw marketplace could really make sense, especially now when you add in the wrinkle of, at a certain level, cards have to be authenticated now to be sold on eBay, which is a huge raw marketplace, right? It's more than $750. It's got to be sent away. It's going to go into hiding. There's going to be a diary written. Then it comes back and it's authenticated. So I think there's a niche there still that should be filled. I think what happened with the marketplace on StarStock, and again, love those guys, but I think if I were to do the autopsy right now, which they're not dead, so the autopsy would hurt because it's alive. You do an autopsy on something that's alive. That's never a good thing. But if I were to do the autopsy, it would be that I don't think that they were ready for the influx, the massive amount of cards that came in because of the PSA closure. And I think if they were to start it over, if they were to do it again, or somebody were to hit the pause button, reset StarStock 2.0 and roll it out, I think that they have to put a limit on Live autopsy, exactly. I think you'd have to put a limit on what kind of cards are coming in, not just rookies, whatever. Like you can't have a ton of nickel cards. I'm guilty of it myself, right? I mean, when StarStock opened up, I had a basement full of Topps breaks that I did, just boxes, and I just kept the stacks of rookies. Just whatever rookie. You never know who's going to turn into that Kyle Lewis or that Randy Arozarena or whatever it is. I literally just sent in hundreds of Topps Chrome rookies, Topps rookie cards, because there was no charge for intake. There was no limitation. As long as a rookie, you send it in. And I think if they were to, again, reboot, they wouldn't take those cards. You know what I mean?
So
they could shoot.
With all the cards there now, and people more than likely, some people are going to ask for those cards back, and now they have a basic 50 cents per card.
Yep.
Which they didn't have when people originally sent those cards in.
Right. So they had a charge. I just don't know if it's 50 cents. I got to tell you,
it wasn't 50 cents.
What would I do? How would I fix this?
Well, I mean, sure. I won't ask the question.
No, go ahead. Ask the question. Sorry.
No, because I was going to do it with a little dig at them at the same time. You saved me. So you got the question.
So, I mean, what would I do, right? So, first and foremost.
So, they're basically holding people's cards hostage. I said it.
I get you. I understand what you're saying, right? So, here's the fun thing. StarStock probably needs to hear this because they don't realize it, right? But they need to hear this. A lot of the cards that they have, people don't want back. And they're doing their analysis on how are we going to get these cards back to people? What are we going to do? How are we going to match up the people with the cards? Because who knows how they have them stored in the vault and the whole deal. I will tell you that if they offered, very easy, if they offered kind of like a checkbox, whatever it is, we talk about a little button, a little clicky thing, donate this to charity, throw this out. You know what I mean? Send this, put this all in a 5,000 count box and mail it to one place, flat rate, kids. Find a Cards for Kids kind of program, whatever it is, right? Just send it off.
That has a ring. That has a ring to it.
Right, KARDS cards for kids, KARDS cards for kids, 1877 card. Well, everyone does it. I mean, I don't want to say everyone. There are a lot of people who do that kind of a program, and I'm sure you have
a Biggie vibe to you. Like if you were to rap,
Biggie?
You know how Biggie came in hard on the one. Like you have a Biggie vibe to you. You're not Tupac where it's poetic and he flows. You're very, 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 very.
Wow, you froze. But I ain't mad at you. You froze there. Mexican internet, I ain't mad at you. This is my little Pac. You want me to little Pac instead? You do a little Pac.
I literally said the opposite. I said you're more
Dia Goldberg. I can't call you Mama. So they could fix it. They could fix it very easily, right? One from a charity, two from just to throw it in the garbage. Right? I have a couple hundred cards in there right now. I don't want them. Seriously, I don't want them to send them back to me. I don't care about those cards. You could have them. I don't want to pay. And most people, probably the card, they don't even care. They're done. I would. Here you go. Click, click, click. Go to charity. Give this to a kid. Give this card to somebody. You name it. I would take a 10-cent charitable donation. Put it off my tax returns. They could probably get rid of a lot of their problems by offering something like that. I'm telling you. But
whatever happened to the whole thing of they were going to break. They're going to break and then vault within 24 hours so someone could buy that card almost immediately. Doesn't that kind of take away their entire competitive advantage if they're not accepting raw cards?
Yeah. I mean, if they're breaking and putting the cards in the vault and you click it, boom, buy, you would think that is a tremendous advantage. But I think like I said, I think the problem is people see, okay, look what's working. Oh, well, whatnot's working. We're just going to do that now. We're going to do breaking. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. NFTs. Let's get into some NFTs. NFTs are what's hot right now. It was raw.
Who knows about Solana NFTs?
Solana NFTs, man. I mean, Solana. I'm hearing from people. Solana's the way of the future. I'm not hearing that from anyone. By the way.
Imagine firing 40 employees, not having your shit together, and then going on Twitter and asking people to hook them up with Solana NFTs. Audacity, man. The audacity of young entrepreneurs these days is shocking.
I didn't see that. Someone's asking for Solana NFTs. I didn't see that at all. I didn't see it. But I mean, that's cool. Listen, here's the problem, right? And we started off by talking about Geoff and the positivity and the hobby, and you roll right into let's take shots. So I'm not taking shots, right? StarStock is still alive, right? They're still going. My hope is that after they hit the reset button and they figure out where they want to go, that they rehire everyone who they let go of, right, with back pay, because they have an amazing business that is thriving in this hobby where we all have a larger pie to eat from. That is your line. There's enough pie to go around. So I'm hoping that they figure it out. They come up with their business plan. And this quarter, they have it, and everybody can come back to them. If you're moving to New York your first time, it had $4,000 to $5,000 a month for rent. Which neighborhood do you move to? Same age as Andrew. High fades. Same age as Andrew. $4,000 to $5,000 a month for rent. You could do pretty well for $4,000.
Don't move to New York is my answer. Move to Florida or move to Mexico. In Mexico, with $4,000 or $5,000 a month, you would live like a king on or near the beach for half the price. You would save money. It would be the best decision ever made. Unless you have a job in New York that pays you that much, don't go to New York.
Honestly, high fades, I'd need to know a little more than that. I need to know what you're coming to New York for, right? Are you somebody who is going to be working? Are you going to be in the financial district? Are you going to be, somebody who's working in Midtown? Are you a theater lover and want to be near, Times Square in the theater district? Are you an outdoorsy type living on a trust fund
in the theater
like
district.
Andrew, right? And you want to be in Central Park. You want to live on the Upper West Side and just roll into Central Park where everything is green. Everything's so green. I would need a little more information. That before
did you say theater district? You literally recommended he lives in.
No, I don't know if he's a theater
Times Square area.
He doesn't have to live there, but he wouldn't want to live. You wouldn't want to live too far. I don't know. You have to see what the person likes. You have to see what they like.
Never,
financial.
Ever.
You live in Tribeca. That's nice. You live Upper West Side is nice. You hang out in Central Park. It depends. Depends what you like. I personally wouldn't live in Manhattan. I work in Manhattan. I walk around in Manhattan, and you have to dodge the dog shit everywhere, even on the most expensive streets, and the whole place smells like piss. So it's not where I would want to spend $4,000 or $5,000. Just want to be a club guy. That's it. You want to be a club guy. You see? So
if I had $4,000 or $5,000, and I actually wanted to spend on rent and live in New York, I would live in Soho, Tribeca area. For sure. It's not even close.
Tribeca area. Like
Chelsea, live
in Chelsea Market. Chelsea Clinton.
Move to Miami is what I would do. William's got the right idea. Dude, New York is a shell of its old self. It's become a little bit too woke, Young Deal asks, with spring training around the corner, which prospects can make Tatis, Wander, Vlad Jr. leap this coming year besides Julio Rodriguez? Also, who's some under the radar guys who might be good investments?
Austin Riley. He's obviously a top prospect in the pipeline, the top 100s. I think he is one that has a chance to make the team right out of spring training, which a lot of these other guys probably don't have. So take a look at Austin Riley stuff. If you're a Yankee lover, we've talked about this. Anthony Volpe's cards have really started to move up. He's moved the pipeline, kind of come out of nowhere as a top prospect. Adley Rutschman is on the top of this fun stuff. I think Austin Riley.
That guy. Who is that Rutschman guy? Who
Baltimore. Adley Rutschman.
Adley Rutschman.
Adley. Adley. He's good. But J-Rod, listen, you said, Rutschman. You said you don't want J-Rod's going to be good. Seattle's got a really good young core. They got to find Seattle
last year. You were on Seattle last year. You said this is a good young team.
Yeah, they got a lot of really good players out there. They do. I mean, need some pitching. But it's going to be an exciting team for a while. For a not rookie of the year this year, just a long-term kind of Christian Hernandez, his cards are so expensive already, Deal. So that's a little tough also. I hope the stuff done. I have a little secret here. I actually watched spring training. That's how Kyle Lewis was somebody that I found, right? And why we picked him, as my rookie of the year candidate before anyone even heard of him. When he was a buck. Witt is uber collector. I mean, Witt's going to be great. But the next Matt Whiters, that's Rutschman, Baltimore. But Witt's not flying under the radar. His cards are so expensive.
Javier Puguero.
That's a good one. Javier Puguero. Nice. That's good. Listen, here's the fun part, Deal. Man, do you
Listen.
guys know that's from Seattle? Man, who do you guys know that's from Seattle? I don't know what that means. I don't know anybody from Seattle at all.
DPZ is from Seattle.
DPZ is from Seattle. Yes, Seattle. Listen, we do. He's going to get me to a Seattle game on the one game a month where Kyle Lewis actually gets into the lineup. That guy, what happened?
Well, I already know you don't know your baseball stuff, so we'll move on.
So no, but you got to watch spring training, guys, because a lot of these guys are already there. But I'm going to tell you, just forget about that deal. Right now, people are paying more for some of these prospects than they are paying for guys who are in the top 5 of odds for like MVP. You know, paying more than for like Mookie Betts. Paying more for guys who I think will have the same type of return for you. The prospect game is fun, but I think you're better off with a lot less downside. You know, grabbing one of those. How about just for Coffee with Cage? I haven't said this name in a while. What if Christian Yelich actually has a decent season this year? His cards have been beat to shit. That's a guy who won the MVP like 2 years ago, and you've had this COVID craziness and you've had these, ridiculous seasons and stuff. And, that's a guy who can come back and just, mash.
Let me give you guys a breakdown. Let me save you guys the time. Nobody knows because baseball is a crapshoot. Nobody knows. It's random. There's so many players. There's so many prospects. You don't know who's going to take off, who's not. Except for Vladdy G because he lost 150 kilograms last year. Dennis Patrick Zender asks, how does Russell Westbrook's performance with the Lakers affect his legacy, if at all?
Well, did he have a legacy coming into the Lakers? His legacy was a guy who, can pad the stats, commit some turnovers, has had a couple of really good seasons when there was nobody else to, put the stats up. He's not won anything. I mean, his legacy is kind of somebody who can, play well and not really win. So does coming to the Lakers change his legacy? We'll see. If the Lakers turn it on and somehow make the playoffs and win, then he's a winner. They turn it on, he's a winner. It definitely doesn't really. If it stays the way it is now, and they're the 9 seed, then with a low likelihood of even making the playoffs right now. If it stays that way, does it hurt him? Yeah, I think it does. Just like the Nets sucking can hurt Harden. Especially because those are the guys coming to teams that were supposed to do well with people on it who already have won, right? AD and LeBron already have that ring, right? Durant and Kyrie already have rings. Like these were the guys, Harden, Westbrook, who were supposed to be coming to teams to build a juggernaut, to get them that ring, to get them over the hump. So if they falter, these are 500 teams and they don't get to the promised land where they're supposed to be, yeah, I think it hurts both their legacies.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? And take Carmelo, for example. People right now have no clue how good Carmelo once was. Literally have no clue. And there's something to that because they say you need to know when to hang them up, right? And there's the few guys that they just are better and better and better somehow. They defy their years. But there's guys that need to know when to hang it up. And T-Mac is a good example. T-Mac, he maybe played a little bit past his prime.
Injured too.
And I think injured too, but he came to try to come back. And it might have hurt his legacy because people forget how good prime T-Mac was. So a few comments here on baseball. So Arenado, people say go buy Arenado.
Yeah, Arenado's another good one.
Arenado's a Chris Paul of MLB. Kevin Seitzer, don't know who that is. He sounds like a financial advisor.
Okay.
Ziggy says, will Jason Dominguez get called up this year? Or do we have to wait another year? Jason Dominguez is still a teenager, so we're going to have to wait 4 or 5 more years.
I think we're going to wait. By the way, Ziggy also, tweeted about Geoff Wilson. Ziggy's got some good videos, man. Go check stuff out. It's all heartfelt. You can tell the dude when he says something, he means it. So he tweeted out a little response video. He's also giving out some mosaic packs, guys. So you got to use the hashtag Ziggy. Yeah, Ziggy, I watch your stuff. I do. Jordan Hudson, get him, Cage. I don't think I've been enough lately. Goldberg has had a tad bit more venom lately. Usually don't when you start messing with him. Most entertaining show. Listen, Jordan, I appreciate that. Sometimes I can't mess with him. Sometimes he wakes up in a mood. And usually it's the days where he doesn't get to box. Because the dude, he's always boxing. It's usually mental. So I like the days where he gets the box, he gets the strategy out, he gets to hit things, he gets the poison out. That's what I would say. You can see the poison's out, right? There are days where he doesn't get the poison out, and you do not want to mess with this dude on those days. You do not want to mess with him on those days. You know, his boy Brove's got to make him a smoothie, calm him down. You know, he's got to bring him a blankie. You know, like so.
Dude, yesterday our power was out, and I've been sleeping late recently too. He went and got me cold brew.
There you go. It's nice to have a manservant.
Or just good friends. Good friends.
Yes, that's true. I don't know. I don't have any of them.
I've
scared them all the way. I don't have any of them. Nobody likes me. It's all right. It is what it is. I'm excited for baseball. You made me mad that nobody cares about baseball. And also, you're right, though. It is. The prospecting stuff is a crapshoot. But if you, like Andrew says with basketball, you watch the games, you watch a little bit of spring training, do a little research. You know, what I would tell you card stuff is as we're approaching the next couple of weeks, minor league's not going to stop, right? So, you know, do research. If you're going on Google, type in like Dynasty League Keeper, right? Late round Dynasty League Keeper is what it's called. In Dynasty Leagues and Fantasy, you can draft anyone and you get to keep them from year to year. So there are people drafting Jason Dominguez to use them in 2 years. They give you a nice little, you know, hey, this is the guy who did this. This guy came up last year. This guy moved up the ranks. Here's a good player. There's actually really good, you know, there's really good info out there. So what else you got?
All right, we'll go to a quick one from Josh Holly. Thoughts on the Cleveland Mavs, most exciting NBA team this year? Give it a shot.
I like how they play team ball. Garland was injured yesterday. They were getting their butts kicked early on by the Pacers. They couldn't hit the side of a barn with the shots. They shot like 20-something% in the first quarter. And yet they came back. Cedi Osman, you know, he was playing well. You know, Jared Allen, a little rim protecting. He got dunked on pretty bad. I did call, and there's a little tangent here. I did call the dismantling of the Pacers. I said LeVert was going to get traded. I think Sabonis still gets moved. LeVert is now going to Cleveland. Interesting to see whether or not that kind of upsets the apple cart a little bit. You know, you start messing with the chemistry. So I'm curious.
When you
to see
saw
what
that
happens.
first half, is that what you thought, right?
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, Garland was out. Garland's the engine that is running that team right now. Garland.
Explain that to people, because Cage, that's little subtle thing is when you kind of have been through the ringer a few times, you pick up on things like that because you think, wait, Kurt LeVert going to Cleveland should be better, Pacers worse. What did you see?
I mean, look at it. Sometimes you have subtraction by addition, a la the Lakers this year. You know what I mean? Sometimes, no, addition by subtraction means you take something away and make it better. I'm saying subtraction by addition. When you're adding something to it and make it worse, right? It's like putting too much salt in the soup. Putting too much salt in there. Like you can add too much salt, right? You can add too much seasoning. That's what I think may happen here with Cleveland, right? The reason why they were doing so well is there is no crazy superstar. You got Garland, a snub. He's like 5'1", right? He's tiny. He's not supposed to be doing anything. You got Mobley.
That role.
You know, you got Mobley, right? Who's awesome, but he's somebody who was not thought of as the top of the rookie class, right? You know, you can name 5 or 6 guys who, you know, people want their cards, wanted him over. Jared Allen, another all-star snub. Like the guy just moves from team to he's traded by the Nets. Didn't really get enough run, right? And he has really blossomed into an all-star caliber player there because they're given this time. Cedi Osman. I mean, I used to watch a lot of Cleveland games 2 years ago because you guys know I'm an Andre Drummond fan. When he got traded there, when he was on that team, I used to watch all those games and be like, wow, he's got a double-double in the first quarter. It's amazing. But they play well. They play off of each other. They have good role players, right? They spread the half-court offense. They set it up. Right? They run plays. They move without the ball. And they've built up this, you know, this cohesion. They're one game out of first. I mean, there's a lot of teams there. They're in fourth. But, you know, you got, I think as of today, you got like Miami, Chicago. The Bucks are right there now again, you know. And Cleveland, I mean, they're all right bunched together.
They're all right there.
And, you know, you worry about adding somebody in the middle of this and how that might mess up the chemistry of it. You'd like to think, wow, we're adding in this star player who can get buckets for us. But where does he fit? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I think we forget that these guys are like professionals in the sense that when someone new comes and gets hired to your organization, you always are like, well, where does that put me, right? What's my role? And
Yeah.
there is a period of time of feeling out because you have a rotation. Everyone knows they come in at this time. This is what's expected. This is when I'm going to get subbed. And now you add a guy and it changes that whole thing up. And people ask, well, where does that put me? But I do think, great comment here. The Cavs do need another ball handler. I think it could work. I think it could work. People are saying,
listen, I mean, that's Duarte play. Yeah, I mean, listen, great fantasy pickup and good card pickup. Use Andrew's play of buy his hoops, buy some hoops parallels, throw him in an SGC sub, send him to us. And we'll throw him in an SGC sub for you. I mean, I think it's a viable way of getting your basketball, prospects out there, and he's going to have a lot of run because he's just going to be out there for 49 minutes in a 48-minute game. I mean, they're going to look to him to score, and you get a lot of. He's ready, like I said, top.
He's
rookie.
good. He's good too. He's a taller point guard, and he could shoot really well. And I like Duarte a lot. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking on this.
You know what the thing with the Cavs? They're having fun. Yeah. Let's hope Karis LeVert comes out there, has fun with them also. I mean, talk about Kevin Love looks 10 years younger. People forget about him too, but he even looks like he's having a blast out there, playing with the young kids, getting a little energy because of that, right? When you got that, you were
watching the game last night.
Yep. Yeah, I watched the comeback. They scored like 19 points in a row. It was insane. From three, moving the ball around. Go ahead.
But it starts with their defense.
Yep.
Like they locked. In the beginning, it was like, wow, I think it was 35-15 at one point.
Yep.
And they just locked them up. It's NBA is so crazy how long the games are.
I mean, this has been a season of that. You play good enough defense, you can be a top half team in your division. It's just, can you carry that through the playoffs against the better teams? Yes, Dallas, I'm looking at you. Same as Cleveland. They remind me, they're playing good team ball. So we'll see. I think they might both be one good piece away. Shoot.
It's a cool pickup. Kevin Love, 6th man of the year. I picked up his exquisite rookie patch auto for under $400. Hall of Famer. I think Kevin Love is I think he's going to be an advocate for the NBA. I think he's going to be doing a lot with mental health after he retires. But the guy was incredible. Like double machine. So a lot of respect.
If you move to Tribeca with your $4,000, $5,000 a month apartment, that's where Kevin Love lives. So.
Fuck, you're
Maybe
cool.
You'll see Kevin Love. Maybe you'll see Kevin Love.
Cool,
Ooh, I'm not cool. I just know what Kevin Love lives.
You know that's from? See, you don't know movies either. We just watch different movies.
Yes. Well, what movie did you watch? I mean, 10 Things I Hate About You. Down to You. Are you like a Freddie Prinze fan? I mean, you always liked Freddie Prinze, didn't you?
10 Things I Hate About You. You had me pegged.
You still have that Julia Stiles poster up on your wall?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched that movie this weekend, which is crazy.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it is what it is. You gotta love it.
Wow,
you gotta love it. Good for you.
We're live too. Upstate Sports Cards.
Upstate. You're man on mute.
I'm back.
You're back. Upstate
Sports Cards. You and him had a little dialogue today. Positive. I love seeing that.
Yeah, about Glaber. About the Glaber.
The fact that he eats too much pizza and he texts too many girls and he walks on the treadmill.
Listen, he knows somebody from the Yankees who says, there's a counterpoint to that. I'm not in, the Yankees training facility. I like Glaber. I think he can go back to what he was. He had some insight saying, he has a friend in the camp and says Glaber he's not from the school of hard workers. He walks on the treadmill. He doesn't go out there and work out. And he's, busy texting girls. That doesn't help if you're an investor in Glaber.
So one of my high school buddies, the one taught me how to play basketball, he's a high school basketball coach in Philly, and he knows people that do Ben Simmons. And 3 years ago, him and I used to talk about it. And he's like, I hear that Ben Simmons doesn't work on his jump shot. He doesn't work with trainers that are outside of his camp, so he won't let the Sixers trainers work with him. He only plays video games. He never works on his game.
And when he does come to practice, he has a cell phone in his pants pocket while he's trying to play defense. Did you see that?
No way.
Yeah, you remember they were finding him for not coming, and then he reported for 1 day before he had he claimed he wasn't mentally ready.
And he had
the video of him. It looks like he's got a cell phone in his sweatpants while he's trying to play defense. Yeah. It's pretty
Like
funny.
the guy out in the park that's like, yo, let me run. And he's just like,
Yeah, exactly.
Upstate Carts asks, are there too many different RPAs out there in football and basketball? National Treasures, Flawless, Immaculate, Panini One, Spectra, Select, Prism, Optic. I feel so many people are getting burned holding the bag, and tons of RPAs are available at shows and on eBay.
So the answer is yes and no. No, if you want to get an RPA of your guy and you want to collect an RPA. Yes, there are too many if you're looking for the ones to invest in, right? So I gave this in our show yesterday. I'll do it again today. Don't buy what you love, unless what you love is what everyone loves, right? You may love that gold standard Giannis RPA. It's cool. It's got a nice signature on it. You name it. But not enough of everyone else out there is going to love that particular one, right? You may love it subjectively. You need to find the one that objectively the demand is there for, right? So I think you're right, and it's only getting worse now. We're not in that mass-produced junk era yet, but we're darn close to what we saw in the late 80s and early 90s. We have a lot of RPAs coming out. And you can see, I mean, I've seen auctions where when Zion was hot and his RPA was selling for a ton of money for National Treasures, you could get a Spectra cool patch RPA out of 3 for like a tenth, you know what I mean? And because no one wants that particular one, right? Nobody, and they continue to produce more and more of these, right? Panini Black, Panini 1-and-1, Panini, this and that. There's a lot
like
of
Panini 1-and-1, by the way. It's probably underrated design.
People seem to like it this year, but the price on the box from Panini was like $200 and something. And the price, direct to like the stores was like $4, maybe even less. And those were like $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 boxes when people were breaking them and stuff. It's very hard to get that kind of value in those, so maybe you pick up a cool RPA. They're nice looking cards, so, but yeah, I mean, the answer is there's not too many because you can get, if you're a Cat fan, you can get his 1-and-1 RPA, not an RPA, his, you can get a 1-of-1, patch auto of his from this year's 1-and-1 and buy for $40 on our Whatnot show because that's, I think, what I sold it for, right? So you can get cool cards of your guy because they're now expanding enough. So that's actually a good thing, right? We talk about, kids get cards. We need to make sure that there's cards at every price level. The fact that there's a lot of them out there, people can buy them. But if you're buying one of these more obscure rookie patch autos of somebody, even if it's a low numbered, expecting that to become the next big thing, chances are you are going to get burned. Feel with Panini, we're living in the times like what's going to be 10, 15, even 20 years from now. Will these same RPAs still be as available later? What do you think?
I don't think they're going to be as valuable later. I don't think anyone's going to care about a non-game worn, maybe not even Melo signed card from his rookie year. I think they'll care, but I don't think they'll care at the $100,000 or $200,000 price point. 2 more questions. You got to bounce and go get Ian.
So really quick, guys, the answer to that one is take a look at the most recent Golden auctions or PWCC auctions and just type in 2003 LeBron RPA. And on the top side, you'll see the exquisite ones selling for 7 figures. You'll see the limited logos selling for high 6 figures. But you're also going to see the ones that have the signed basketball. You're going to see the ones that have, LeBron's signature on it. Even a little patch, some of them have, you name it. It's a whole bunch of them. And they sell for so much less. And that is LeBron, where there's less of his auto out there, right? And it's a rookie auto. And it's the same type of thing, only take it down in price significantly. Because now you just got so many different products, so many things being sold, and not everybody's LeBron. As a matter of fact, you can make an argument nobody is LeBron. So there's always been that huge, these are the ones everyone wants, so they sell for a lot of money. And then there's the other ones, which still sell, but nowhere near as much as the other stuff is. So just be careful.
Cage. So
Shoot.
See something here. Cage, your favorite whiskey and your favorite cigar.
Woo! Okay, so for the cigar one, domestic, right? If you are looking for one that you don't have to have a friend sneak in from a embargoed country, right? You can't get a Cuban. On the higher end side, if you don't mind spending some money, buy a Padron. It's a Nicaraguan, Padron, anniversary series. And 1926 is my favorite. 1964 is all right also. 26 is the go-to. 35 Maduro is a nice little small one. Takes 35 minutes to smoke. That's why they named it that. If you are looking for a midline American one that's not going to set you back, I like Arturo Fuente's Hemingway line. That's a cool one. And you're looking for a bargain smoke, Oliva, Oliva, Series V Torpedoes. Buy that stick for $6-7. Nice and easy. Great smoke. And there's the 3. Whiskeys, you always have the same kind of thing, right? So my go-to non-bourbon, not going to kill you on price, but you have to like this taste. It's a Lagavulin, Lagavulin. It is the peatiest Scotch in the world. It really has sort of like almost a gunmetal-y type of taste to it, which is nuts. That's the kind of Scotch I like. You want a more, that's not that expensive. $60-80 for a bottle. You can find it in most stores, most restaurants. Johnny Walker, I drink blue, just because people give it to me as gifts. But my favorite is actually a green, which used to be just like an international one you get into like duty-free shops and stuff like that. I like the green label. It's got like a little salt, kind of like an ocean kind of flavoring to it. And if you want sort of like a
saltwater taffy,
yeah, like the salt, not taffy. It's not sweet, but just regular like salt water kind of salty kind of it's like an ocean distilled type of stuff. There's all kinds of different scotches, and then bargain low level cheap stuff. Bourbon wise, we drink Woodford in our house. If you're just having a drink, watching some TV, finish off a bottle, my wife and myself will just drink Woodford. It's a nice, easy, straight bottle of Woodford. Easy.
You and
there
the
you
missus. Go. Okay. Watch out.
Whiskey. Yeah, she's a bourbon
Long shot cards ask, should color match parallels have a premium over lower numbered parallel cards? Example, Lakers and purple out of 99 Prism versus blue shimmer out of 30.
So should...
Yes and no.
Is yes and yeah. I mean, there's your answer. Yes and no, right? I mean, there are some people who will pay more for the color match, and there's some people who will pay more for the lower. Get your hands up on a Sullivan's Cove, the logo man of whiskey. Okay, I'll look for one. Sullivan's Cove looks for me. That I'll definitely take a gander. That's personal preference. It's subjective, right? I mean, it's one of those things, guys, where I will tell you, I had a red tray, which is that a color match? It's swords is like the closest thing to a color match. And I had a purple tray, so the red was like $2.99, the purple was out of $75, and the offers I got on them were similar to both. I mean, to me, I'd much rather have that one out of 75. But just like there are a lot of RPAs, this is what you reap what you sow. There are so many of these parallels. They kind of like the water gets muddy, right? And then you got a disco ones and the fast break ones and all these, pulsars and whatnot. There's so many of these out there that at least the color match one kind of stands on its own. But even that,
what about jersey number? What about jersey number? Listen,
number 1 and jersey number, they carry premium. There are people out there who will
25 out of 25.
People call that like what the perfect cereal, like the last. There are a segment of folks who do pay a premium for that, but of the 3, that's like the lowest premium, right? The jersey number, first serial number, and then the distance is 25. So.
Last question. This is perfect timing.
Made you look.
Matt
Pettinato, yeah. He's like always the first one who joins us on Whatnot on Sunday morning. Thank you, Matt. He's always the first one to log in. He's there.
He's an awesome dude. Penn State guy. Penn State grad. What's up, Aussie? Dude, things are trending up in Australia, so it's good to see. Great country. I'm a big fan of the Deadfellas Project, NFT. Husband and wife from Australia, so I have some stake in the game with you guys. Do you have a favorite memory is that not supporting Australia?
I don't. Is exactly. It?
Yeah.
I don't know. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way.
You're so weird. You have issues. Do you have a favorite memory since the start of Luca Nation or a moment milestone that sticks out to you?
I have a lot.
Discovering who card porn is?
I have a lot. No. I have a lot. I really do have a lot. I think my favorite, if I'm just going to pick one, is wow. I love
Hugging me at National.
Yeah, meeting people at National, including you, meeting for the first time. I mean, that was definitely a cool thing. Hanging out, smoking cigars with folks after a trade night. Just bullshitting, chatting, meeting people who we've talked to. Reckless's whole family we met. That was cool. Some of the other folks that we talked to, that was great. But I think might top that was our January 1st, our first January 1st. We were not huge yet like we are now. We were building something there. We were building something, and we had basically our Luca Nation OGs, the people who were the first people to listen to us, the people who have been with us since, we're approaching almost 2 years. We had kind of like a live Zoom New Year's Day, got to chat with folks, brought them on, asked questions, did, this kind of stuff. And that was a cool thing, right? Because, you got to see the faces of the people who were listening to us and say, all right, we got to go. We got to do this. Bring Manny on board. That's huge too. We got to keep going. If people, if we don't put an episode out tomorrow, these are the people who are going to be mad at us. I can't let these folks down. And now we have, 2,000 people or whatever it is, 2,500 that are going to listen to us in the next, 24 hours. I don't want to upset you. We're going to show up and give you a real episode every single day. So that was a cool, eye-opening thing for me.
Einstein says compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Yeah.
Did he really say that?
Yes, he did. So my favorite day is the day that we start the cage.
Yeah.
Because sometimes to change the course of your life, it's not this huge monumental thing. Sometimes it's so simple, like, let's try this and see what happens. And who knows? I could have flaked on that first call, I could have been like, this is never going to go anywhere. A million things could have happened.
I'm like, this guy is a clown.
That changed the course of time. But that little tiny action has had so many ripple effects that my life, if you would have told me my life now and where it was in August, I'd say, get out of here. Get out of here.
Get out of here. A wise man once told me that a journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with one step. And each episode is another step.
But the first step, right? You can't take the second one. What's going to be the next happy news that affects the hobby? A $10 million sale of a card.
Do you think maybe $10 million sales have already happened? They just don't get publicized? Because what I've noticed is that there are people out there who don't want the notoriety. There are people out there who don't want the notoriety. I know of an $8 million sale that happened recently that didn't get, fanfare and publicized in the whole 9 yards. $8 million sale. And nobody knows. It's not on Instagram. It's not, woo!
What was the card?
It was a Honus.
Wagner?
No.
Was this one ripped in four?
No.
Was
Honus
this
Johnson.
In four?
It was a Honus Johnson.
Ripped in four,
Wagner.
but this one was the first graded by PSA.
No. It wasn't the nicest one out there either. There are really nice copies of it that, 10 million. I wouldn't sell for 10 million. I know that's crazy. You put 10 million in front of somebody and see what happens. But there are cards out there. That's not the next happy hobby news, though, right? What's the next happy hobby news?
Dude, people are happy when they make money. I say this all the time. Winning is more fun than fun is fun. I heard that from my mentor, Ed Milet, and I will live with that for a very long time. I love that very much.
But how does a card selling for $10 million help the rank and file? How does that help the common collector?
I don't know, Watergate. I think because it has ripple effects. Like when things sell for record prices and when they sell consistently for record prices, I think the rest of the hobby feels more confidence to go and spend big money on cards, and it has this kind of trickle down effect.
All right.
Especially when it was a retail investor or like someone that started on the bottom, now we hear type of guy who could sell his card for some big money. Yeah.
All right. I like that. It does. It usually, what we all want to hear is there are more people coming into the hobby, right? And that just puts kind of like a headline out there. PSA getting fully caught up in the backlog, I think, would be overall happy news for everybody. Sure, because people have a lot of cards locked up and that kind of stuff. Caught you guys 2 months ago. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening. And message us if there's anything we can talk about, help you out. Positive vibes in the hobby. Yeah, I mean, and that's we started the show off with that 100%, and we want to keep it going. Also, I challenged Andrew to get Geoff Wilson on the show. We'll see how long it takes him to do that, 2-3 years, if it ever happens. It's tough when I throw the gauntlet down, see if this guy delivers on those challenges. If PSA gets the backlog cleared up, I think what you're going to see is, these grading companies, they've really gotten good. The top ones, SGC, they've it's what are they going to learn from this stuff, right? So SGC will be the first one to come out, and maybe we'll have Peter on again, and he can talk about this. They'll be the first one to come out and say what lessons they learned when PSA closed and everybody turned to them. And it's basically like a tidal wave washing over you. And you think, don't worry, bring it all in, we can handle it. But the sheer volume, the size of the hobby, the amount of cards that people have a demand to grade, there's a lot. Sometimes it'll catch you off guard. And I think that, what you're seeing is whether it's PSA learning from the backlog. There he is. There he is.
I hate being caught too, because the answer, am I in shape? Dude, I've been I eat and lay on the couch. I'm not in shape, but I started today.
Do I have to go to Do I have to go to this? Do I have to go to the show and watch Sasha dunk on your head? Is that what do I have to watch? Dunk. Come on, he's like 11 feet tall.
No way.
Yeah, I can see it's like Australia has this national next week called the Hobby Hangout. Everyone's buzzing down here. That's good. Listen, are you going to do any customs? You going to show up with some customs and sell them there? This guy makes the best stuff. He made our Luca.
That was
Nation.
him?
Yeah, that's Adam. Yep.
Dude,
yep.
I'll tell you, man. I'm so jealous of artists. Like, to be able to do that, like see it in your head and then be able to put it together in some form or fashion. Tremendous respect. It's something I could never do. Never.
Good stuff. He changed the topic on you, Sasha. Sasha's gonna dunk. It's gonna be one of those like, what is it? The poly scene where it's like, make it rain. Andrew's gonna make it rain. He's gonna get all up in Sasha's beard. It's gonna be great. Oh man, look at this. Look at this. Do a little spin. Do a little turn. Do a little turn on the catwalk. It's like Right Said Fred right here.
I'm gonna get the ball in the post.
His hat. You get the ball in the post.
And I'm a DeRozan player. Like my game is, I would say that's what they compared me to, DeRozan.
You are DeRozan. I say, maybe more like you're Clarence Weatherspoon is what I think.
Yep, that's what I mean. DeRozan, dude, when I was compared to DeRozan, it was the Spurs DeRozan. It wasn't the Bulls DeRozan putting up 40-50. Like that's just a different guy right now.
He looks good.
He's crafty.
He's coming for you, Sasha. Be careful. He's coming for you. You know what you got to do before the game? Bring Sasha some In-N-Out burgers. Like he's a fan of that fast food stuff.
How much does get In-N-Out burgers at Atlanta?
You got to figure this out. You got to figure it out. Figure out what the Atlanta version is. Bring him something, eat it. Pretend like you're eating it. Like you do the shots. Like take a shot. He does a shot. Like you throw yours over your shoulder. Like take a cheeseburger. Like just give it a toss like that. And then Sasha's like this. He's all sluggish. And then you could do your DeRozan moves around him. See, I got a plan.
I don't know, man. Or I could just work for 21 days.
That's it. Just learn.
364 days till the next tryouts.
You know what? Exactly. It was going to hit. It's the next hockey trial. You know what you got to do? Go hang out near like research facilities. Maybe you'll get bit by a spider and be, infused with magical like powers, like superhero powers in the next 3 weeks. And then you could beat Sasha in basketball with your Spider-Man Spidey sense. No?
You know that spider sense is just like by steroids. It was bit by a spider, bit by a needle.
So you're going to do steroids? Are you going to do a cycle over the next?
There's not enough time. There's not enough
weeks?
time.
Yeah, that's not enough time to do a cycle.
It'll be awkward.
It's not enough time. Plus, that's not really. That's not going to help you basketball anyway. This is fun.
Yeah, I'll jump over. Very much love you guys. It's another show. We love Coffee with Cage. We actually haven't done it in a while. It was nice that our audience told us, "Come on in, do Coffee with Cage. Let's have some fun." So
appreciate you guys. There's no show without you guys, and even more so today when we do a Coffee with Cage. These kind of shows, Andrew likes to say, he used to say in the beginning, you're our oxygen. He kind of went away from that. You're the, you're the gas that makes the engine go here. Not the kind of gas, like the good kind of gas, But
I love the comments. I love interacting with the community.
And it's great, man. We get to answer your questions. We'd sit here in silence if we didn't have you guys asking questions. So we appreciate it.
Love you guys. Peace.
Thanks, guys.